Hey everyone, it's 2 o'clock on Easter Monday. I hope you're all having a great and safe Easter. How many of you have been eating too much chocolate? Not me, I didn't get any. I'm still sulking. Let's see who's going to join us today on our little adventure into Lilies. Say hello if you've joined. I can't see you on my laptop screen, so if you can say hi, give me a wave, that would be great. I notice it's only just announced that I've gone live on the screen, so hopefully you'll be joining in the next couple of moments. I'm just trying to find it on my phone as usual. You can just enjoy looking at these lilies. This isn't quite finished. It's one that I should have finished ages ago, that I did for a tutorial recently. Probably a year ago. Probably a year ago now. So anyone on? Ellen, give me a wave. Let me know you're on. Okay, I think. There we go. Hi from Pam. Hello, Pam. Good to have you along. Where do I find today's story? Someone's asking. I can't answer her because it's live now. So hopefully it will have popped up in her feed if she's following. So we'll just give another couple of minutes. And see if we get up. Any more joining today? Let me know if you're there because I'm blind to who's watching. 13 of you. There we go, you see. Karen, hi Karen, Sandra, Connie. Hello, Connie. There we go. Finally, my phone comes to life 2 minutes into filming, but we got there in the end. So this is a little pastel class that I did in person, probably around a year or so ago, I think. And I never quite got round to finishing mine that I use as a demonstration in class. So those that follow me regularly know that I like to work on velour, but this isn't on velour. This is on normal pastel mat. This is a lovely coloured background, and it's a make called Clairefontaine, and it's 170 GSM, I think. So it's got a nice texture to it. But you will find if you're switching from working from velour to pastel mat that you get a lot more dust, a lot more chalk come off on your work with normal pastel mat. But I quite like it for this lily scene, so we're going to use it today. Hello, Connie. Hello, Nina. So I'm just going to put this one to one side, out of the way. And I've just drawn one single flower down on my pastel mat. Okay, make sure I've got a good angle on the screen. Excellent. So I've just sketched out my lily using a white pastel pencil. Okay, look at this little stubby one. You can tell it's been getting towards the end of its life. I've got several colours out today. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them all. So I've got 2 yellows, sort of a yellow ochre mustardy colour and a brighter yellow. I've got a couple of greens, a grey, a little bit of red. There's a little bit of red edging comes into the flowers. A couple of greys. That's about it. Actually, I'll bring this back over and just show you. The thing is with pastels, it is a painting method, and just like painting, you can mix your own pigments, okay? So you can make your own greens. I'll just show you. quickly before I go any further with the demo. Let me grab a blue from here. Okay, so I've just taken a blue and a yellow, okay? So if you haven't got loads of greens, have fun mixing your own. Use different blues, different yellows, and you'll get different results. So I'm going to put some of this blue down here, and I'll do a quite large area so you can see. And then I'm going to come across it with my yellow. And then I'm going to use either my finger or a blending stick. Let me bring the camera a bit lower so you can see. Oh, it's as low as it goes. Okay. And then you can blend it together. Just use either a blending stick. You could use a paper stump or your finger. Let me bring that up to the camera. So where are you, camera? So you get this beautiful green. And just as a reminder, that was the yellow and that was the blue. You see? You can mix colours in pastels as you go. Anyway, I'll put that to one side. Hello, Sally. Hope you're well today. So back to my pastel. I'm just going to get my flower scene that I done previously. There, can you see the pink? So there's this reddy pink that I use in and around the petals and in the stamen as well. Okay, let me pop that so I can refer to it. Hello, Linda. Hello, Margaret. Okay. Oops, it's gone blurry. Let me just reset the camera. There we are. Let's get it in a good position for you guys. That's as low as I can get it to go. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with a soft pastel. So I've sketched out my lily in white pastel pencil, and now I'm looking for the brightest whites first, the lightest colours in my petals. So I'm going to just lay in with a big soft, but you could do this whole painting in soft pastels. You don't have to use pastel pencils. So I'm just bringing in the edge of these leaves where the light's hitting. I'm just bringing this block colour in. This is like blocking in. You can see the texture on the paper. If I lift it up now, can you see the texture of the paper? How the chalk's skipping over the texture. You wouldn't get that on velour, but you do get it on normal pastel mat. And it's that texture that's binding, that's holding the pigment, that the pigment's going to sink into. So I'm going to come up to the centre of that leaf. Strong marks. I'm just using a round chalk here. Round, which one is this? This is a Rembrandt white, but I've got all sorts knocking around. Just whichever one I pick up first, really. Rembrandt are quite nice and creamy. Okay, and this petal here. Now, obviously, the full picture is, I've put it up on this page, on my challenge page. So if you wanted to trace down, feel free to print off my image and have a play with this. Now you can see how dusty this is. I've already got handprints all over my work and I've only just begun. So I'm just going to chalk around this bright section, the brightest section of the leaves with my stick of white, soft pastel. Now this little leaf over here, there is a bright section, but most of it's going to be in shadow. Okay. What you can do, guys, is you put a piece of normal white paper down. I'm just looking to see if I've got any knocking around. I'm sure I have. I'll just grab it 1 second. Bear with me, guys. This is the horse for tonight's class that we're doing in acrylics, so I have him to hand. So you could just use a bit of paper and place it onto your pastel mat so that you're less likely to get smudges, but it will happen. And you can just rub them in, slightly dampen a finger and get rid of those. What I also will be doing, though, is once this is completely finished, is going in and around the petals with a dark grey, similar to the background colour of the pastel mat, to lose any of those marks. So you really don't have to worry. So I'm going to lose that horse. Okay, now I'm going to start bringing in some other colours. So I've got a grey here. I've got my white, my grey. There's quite a bit of green and yellow ochre. So these colours I think I'm going to be using for this leaf down here. So I'm going to start with a grey. That doesn't make for very interesting viewing, putting grey on grey paper. Sorry guys, but it will all make sense. Now, unlike velour, you can go straight onto pastel mat with pastel pencils, whereas with velour, you tend to need a bit of soft pastel down first to give it some bite. So I'm just re-emphasising the edge of these leaves, and then I'm going to stroke this white with my white pencil back into the grey. Coming back down the leaf, thinking about the shape of the petals, and coming back and around and into the grey. So I can already see the grey mixing with the white here. I'm going to put a bit more grey down, and then I'm going to go on to my green. I want some green. You've all looked at lily petals. They're white lilies, but you see all these wonderful colours. When you start observing flowers and really looking at the colours, you see the amazing colours that can be found once you open your eyes and start to look. I nearly sent you all photos of blossoms yesterday out on my walk with my dogs. I ended up picking a bunch of pink, two different pink blossoms off a tree because they were just so beautiful. I wanted them. Okay, so I've laid some colours on this leaf, and now's where the fun begins. I'm going to take my rubber blending stick. Look at the state of that. It's quite grubby. They can be cleaned. I just don't. I'm just rubbing off the excess on my finger. Okay, you could use your finger. Just be careful with overuse of the finger because you've got oils in your skin, natural oils that will get into the paper, which isn't good. It could clog it up. So this is just a rubber-ended tool, but you could use a paper stump as well. And I'm just going to push this pastel chalk, that large area of white that I put down, following the direction of this petal, all the time bearing in mind the direction, the feel, the curves, the contours of the object that you're painting. Okay, so we've got some beautiful colours coming in here. There's also this really reddy pink that comes around the outside. I'm going to carry on with my white a bit more. I'll try and bring this up to the camera a bit higher for you. Let me see if I can come lower so you can see. There we go. Bear with me, guys. I'm just adjusting the camera so you can get the best view of what's going on here. So I'm going back in with my white from the edge of that petal. Make sure you've got a nice sharp point on your pencils. Give them a good sharpen beforehand. I want to capture the kind of veins that are lying within this petal. And then I'm going to blend again. Just soften those in. There we go. Now for a bit of pink. Now I've got this brownie pink. If you use Faber-Castell, it's a number 169. Hello, Gay. Can't stay, but we'll see you soon. Yes, I'll see you this evening. So I'm just coming in with this lovely, it's like a burnt red brown. It's very good for all sorts. I recommend you get this colour, 169. I'm not sure what it's called in words, but it's number 169. I use it in portraits. It's great for skin tone, you know, the ruddy look of lips, etc. Okay, so I've got a bit of that in there. I'm going to leave the little freckles. You can see there are little freckles, but I would tend to put those in at the end. But just to show you, just using the pencil, just tapping down when you come to put those little freckles on the leaves, just touching down with quite a bit of pressure to get a strong amount of pigment down on the page. I have a beautiful colour by Eunice, actually. This is a big chunky pastel, which is perfect for these. But you just have to use in a bigger pastel to do it. Just be really careful you don't overstate your mark, because you'll get a bigger mark come down. You see? Okay, so I'm going to move on round these petals. I'm going to come to this one over the back next, this one here, which has quite a lot of this light green in the centre. So I'm just literally, like you're shading with a graphite pencil, putting this green down to begin with. This lovely citrus green in. And then I'm going back to my white pencil and I'm going to sharpen the edge of this leaf and start bringing this white pastel with my pencil back into the green, blending on the paper. Maybe you can see this leaf better than the previous one. So the green and the white are mixing. Back to the green again, over top of the white this time. Allowing those colours to mix. You can see this pattern of the paper coming through. We'll lose that in a moment. Now I'm taking my yellow ochre and I'm going to bring some strong yellows over the top of this green in places where I see it. Either have a bunch of lilies in front of you or a good reference photo. Really look for these colours that are appearing. Really observe what's in front of you. I'm going to bring a bit of strong white through here, where the stamens are going to be. And now for my blending stick. So this is where you pull it all together. Bring in that direction. Follow the contour of the petal, of the object. Doesn't matter what it is. You need to observe either if it's an animal, the way the fur lies, the directional strokes that mimic the item that you're trying to portray. There we go. Can you see those colours in there? And how we're starting to lose the texture of the paper. Look at the texture there. So here, you're getting that coverage, covering the paper. Okay, I don't want to lose that edge, that strong edge. So just really push down with your pastel pencil to get that crisp edge. As I say, you can also emphasize that later. I'm going to be going around with a dark pastel and I shall bring it right up to my petals, and I shall also blend that away. So you can really emphasize the shape and you get that really nice contrast between the petal and the paper. It gives you that lovely crisp edge there. Okay, so I'm going to carry on round. It's pretty much the same thing today, guys. So I'm going green again in this one here. Oops, no, I've missed my red. I'm going to bring this red. And not every petal, I notice, has this red edge. Just these centre free, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals. The centre free have this reddy edge to the leaves. Beautiful. And then if you wanted to, you could bring your flecks in. I hope this is showing up for you. So you can see the red edge that I brought in there. Okay. Now, you want to emphasize that petal and the lines and the streaks of the white that are feeding through into that yellow orangey colour. Okay, and I'm going next to it. Back with my white again. I'm just going to strengthen this petal. You can see the smudging I'm getting going on here. You would not get this on velour, but I do like doing flowers on normal pastel mat. Okay, and coming in with my green. Just layering the colours and allowing them to mix, pulling them. Now this one has more yellow ochre up towards the tip. It's get those colours and a bit more grey. I'm going to put a bit more grey in this one. It's slightly behind this leaf, so it's a bit in shadow. Not overly, but there's definitely grey coming through. Bringing my grey back to the white. Back to the white and letting it blend over the top of the grey. Blending over the top of the grey. Take your time with it. I mean, there is a point of saturation on this type of paper when your paper will say, that's enough, I can't take any more. And you will just be playing with dust. There is something you can do at that point. You can give your paper of pastel fixative. I'm working on Clairefontaine pastel matte, Linda. Yeah, so you can use a pastel fixative over the top. Once the pastel fixative has dried, it will give you another layer at least to work with. So if you do find your paper's getting clogged and you can't get any more pigment down, give it a spray with pastel fixative. Please don't use hairspray. I hear this a lot. Use hairspray instead of pastel fixative. It will ruin your work. It has acid in it. It will eat the paper. It will tarnish your work. It will send it yellow. And you've put all that hard work in. Why would you do that? So I'm just going to take a darker green here. You could take a blue. I'm going to bring a stronger green because this petal is in the background. Actually, whilst I've got this stronger green, I'm going to bring a little into this one as well. There we go. Excuse the squeakiness. That is one of the joys of pastel pencils, or not. That could lose a few viewers straight away. Don't like the squeak. Just going back over with my yellow ochre. Just having fun with these colours. And back to white. I really want a strong edge here. And there's this vein coming through the middle of the petal, which is really catching the light. And the edge again of this petal. Just coming from the edge and feathering. There we go. Yeah, you can get pastel mattes in all sorts of colours. There's another one I use, yeah, I can never say the name of it, but they're all very much of a muchness. They're just normal pastel papers. Okay, so on to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see how quickly pastels are great to work with. They're very forgiving as well. So here I go again, round to this side. Just look at that pattern on the paper. Look at the texture and look how blending it pulls those colours together and softens. Particularly like that one. Okay, so you start with this and you end up with this. So I'm just having to dodge my camera here. Let's come down. Has anyone had barbecues in the last few days? The weather's been perfect for it. Well, there was a bit of a shock yesterday when that wind picked up and the rain came down for a little while. It sort of came out of nowhere. Really quite bizarre weather. Okay, yellow ochre and grey I'm bringing into this one. So the colours I tend to be using, guys, if you want to redo this, are this bright green, yellow ochre, grey, white, and then this reddy brown colour for the edges. Excuse me, let me have a sip of my tea. Okay, so this particular petal has more of the yellow ochre coming through. Over the top of the white, allow it to mix, and now I'm taking my grey, bringing some grey. All my strokes, if you notice, are coming from the edge of the petal in or from the base up. They are all following that contour of the leaf. Never am I going across. They're always following that shape. And this is what will give your painting a lift, will make them look a bit more real. That's what you want. Okay, I'm going back to my white, and I'm going to allow my white to mix with that grey. So I'm getting a light grey. You don't need 3 or 4 different greys, just mix them on the paper. Ethan cooked. Oh, wow. How exciting. Little master chef. Nina's little boy, Ethan. She's answering my question, did anyone have barbecues? Her little boy, Ethan, cooked, who's adorable. Really sweet kid. You haven't tried velour yet? Oh, okay. You really must, Linda. It's a game changer. Particularly for things like for things like this, normal pastel paper's fine. But for pet portraits, people portraits, I really recommend that you try velour paper. It takes a bit of getting used to it. When you're coming from this type of pastel mat and you're trying velour, you'll think, oh my God, this is quite hard. It's hard to get the pastel into the paper, but it's so worth it. Okay, I'm also going to bring the red. So this is the third of the petals. So this has the red. Can you move the camera down? It's about as low as I can get it, Nina. There. No, I can't see what I'm doing. So I'm bringing this red just around the edge of this petal here. Okay, I'm also going to use my my big pastel, but you can use the pencil to bring the stamen over on this leaf. Those dreaded stamen that drop everywhere. There's 3 or 4, maybe 5. I like odd numbers when it comes to painting. Always works. So I brought the stamen in there. And now I'm going to bring some of the yellow ochre into the edge of them. Just pushing down quite hard. Blow the dust away. And I've already got the white of the stamen going up, but this one needs re-emphasizing, so I'm going to really push down. This is why you want a nice sharp pencil to get a nice thin, crisp line to your stamen. There we go. We've got that down. So where was I before that? I haven't blended this petal yet, so I'm just going to take my blending stick, pull those colours together. All that layering, the greens, the yellow ochre, the white, the grey, pull that together. Get rid of the pattern on the paper. As you push that pastel into the texture, into the grain of the paper. And you get that nice, smooth petal. Okay. So I'm just going to crispen my edge up again. I quite like the colours going on there, but I need a bit of strength to this vein coming through the centre of this petal. Just slowly taking my white through and softening one side, so it's highlighting one side. We've got the vein there, and on this one we need a bit of a vein there. I'm going to take my grey down the other side of that vein just to give it a bit more contrast. Excuse the squeak, guys. Just take that grey down one side, the side that's got more shadow, just to make that white line pop. I'm going to bring it back again. And my paper is getting very close to being saturated now. Blow away the dust. There we go. How cool is this? Who's going to have a go at these? Seriously, whether you've only got soft pastels, I'll do the next petal in soft pastels in case you haven't got the pencils, okay? So let's do this one in just soft pastels. So I've already laid down my white there, and I want a grey. So I've got a light grey here. I'm going to bring the grey in You don't need the pencils. I just chose to work with them. It's easier, let's face it. When you're coming around the edge of the petals with this red, this thin line of red, it's much easier if you can do that with a pencil. But equally, you can tip your chalk to an edge and use the edge of your chalk. It's just getting used to it. Okay, so what other colours have I got in my little box of tricks? So I've got a yellow ochre in my soft pastels. So I'm going to bring the yellow ochre through. Just proving the point that you don't need the pencils. Okay, what else have I got? I've got a bit of this reddy brown. Just seeing if that's the same colour. Oh, it is. Same colour as the edge of the flowers. So if you're worried about bringing in these lines and you haven't got a pencil, just watch. Take a corner of the chalk. Go along that edge. Push down. Nice and steady. And you will get that line. Slightly thicker than the pencil. Not a lot in it though. It's just finding a sharp edge and using that to get that detail down. Okay, so I've done my yellow ochre, I've done a bit of grey and my white. I haven't got a green to hand in my soft pastels, so I'm just going to add a bit of green here, but it could equally be a soft pastel. I just want to get up and go over to my box. Already I'm working on one at the same time, but on velours. I didn't know you were... keeping you on your toes, Nina. I like to show you the variety of tools, because not everybody's got the velour, you see. In fact, most people don't have velour. Not even heard of it, a lot of people. And they work on this normal pastel mat. So really it's to give you that variety and get you using the different tools that are out there. And this is much cheaper as well. You'll be paying around 20 pence a sheet for this paper. There we go. Soft pastels, pencil pastels, doesn't matter. Okay, one more petal to do. I'm going to turn my board around so I can get to it easier. Okay, I'm going to do this one in soft pastels again. So this one, there's a bit more pink going on in this one. So I've got my white down. I've got my grey soft pastel. I'm going to bring that in from that centre all over the petal. Get my grey down. And then I'm going to start darkening that centre. I really want a darker grey. Here we go, a darker grey. This petal is right in shadow. It's picking up more shadow than the rest of the flower. So I'm going to take a darker grey over the top of my light grey and feed that in. So I'm sketching the edge, pulling it towards the white. And I also want a bit of this pink that we've been using for the outside. I'm just going to lay that over the light grey. There we go. And I want to bring a bit more white back in, up to the tip. Now time to blend. So I'm going from the white this time down into the dark. If I start in the dark, it will mess up the whites. I'll be bringing all that dark pigment over the top of the white. And I don't want that. So as I'm coming down into those colours, I keep wiping my stick off, trying to keep the white nice and light. Still following that contour of the petal. I've messed up my red line there, but there we go, it's back. It was just hiding under some dust. There we are. So this petal's much darker, and I'm going to darken it down even further in this section. Put a bit more of that dark pastel on and blend it. I'm going to add a little bit of green over it just to get a bit of uniformity with the rest of the petals. A little bit of this light green up here in the lighter area of the petal. Tapping it down, shading it in. Turn it back round. Now I just want to sharpen the edge. Sharpen all the edges. Really push down. Sharpen these edges of the leaves. They can get smudged by your hand as you're working, so it's good to just go back round, sharpen them up. So now it's time for all those little dots. Are you liking it? I've still got 14 of you watching, which for a bank holiday Monday really isn't too bad at all. So I'm going to use this reddy brown pencil. Actually, I'm going to use my lovely Unison soft pastel. And I'm just going to touch down to bring these little flecks. Lightest touch down, just to bring all those little freckles in to my petal. Literally, it's just a tap. I'll try and lean my pastel over so you can see. Tiny push, tap. I'm not dragging it, I'm tapping it, just placing it on and lifting it. Place it on and lift it off. It's really all about the blending to get these beautiful flowers to look like this. So put your colours down, the colours, as I said, that you see in the petals in your reference photo, and then blending, enjoying that process of blending those colours together so they go into the paper. Okay, so I've got a bit of a leaf to bring in here as well. I'm just going to use this dark green that I have to hand. I'm going to go into the leaf, come in the underside. Just think about how light hits things. So it's dark under here, and then I'm bringing this dark colour through over the tip because this leaf is folded over itself. And the same down here. There's another one here. It's folded over itself. So dark under there, and then a bit of dark here. And then I'm coming up the left side of my stalk. And I'm going to pretty much very lightly cover the whole stalk. Very lightly. I'm not going to press too hard over that side. And I'm going to bring my yellow ochre over the top and mix. So I'm getting a different green. Getting the highlight side of this stalk. Blend it in so it blends into this side. And the same in my leaf up here. Bring in the yellow ochre. Blend in the dark green. Blow away the excess. And then just the yellow ochre on the tip here. Into that green. Now, whichever colour you put down first will remain the strongest colour with pastels. So I've put that yellow ochre on, and now I'm very lightly shading in with the same dark green as I used for this area. And I'm getting a lighter green, allowing those chalks to mix. Just strengthen the dark side. Yellow ochre. Back over the highlight of this leaf as it's folded over itself, and then a bit of the dark green back over the top. Because the yellow was put down first, it will remain dominant. Okay, then I'm going to take my blending stick and pour all these lovely colours together. Just going to pick up that dark green again, just to give shape to the edge. Really sharpen my edges, the same as I did on the petals. Trying to cover up the white sketch that I did earlier. I don't want the white sketch to show through here. going to use my lighter green. Just covering that white. Can you see those colours? Allowing them to blend again. I'm just going to change the angle of this camera. The colours, I'm not sure how the colours are coming through on your screen. What you're thinking of that then, guys? You're going to have a go at this later. I'm just going to tackle the glass. People don't like the glass. If I bring this one back in, the glass jar, they're really simplistic to do because it's glass. You can see through it. So you want to see what's behind it. So I've only got a little bit of space on my paper, but just with my soft white, I'm going to emphasize the edge of the jar and a few grooves. It's a jam jar. I'm reusing, recycling. I'm going to take this tape off so I've got a bit more paper to show you. So nice and bold around the edge of your jar, your glass. And then you want to bring some highlights following the curve. Just where the light's reflecting and bouncing off the jar. And again, blend. You have to get a blender tool, Linda. Yeah, they're really, you can buy them off of Amazon or Jackson's. A couple of pounds each, or you can buy a set of all different shapes and sizes. Just look for rubber-ended pastel blending tool. They also use a similar tool in pottery for shaping and carving out, as long as it's got a rubber end. And I'm just going to scrub over the top of this highlight area on the jar. I need my white pencil to really crisp these lines up now. Nice pressure down. Get the edge of the back of that jar. Bring the front in. I'm going to take some dark grey. Just to help me reshape this jar where the pastels come over. There we go. So our little jar and our wonderful lily. I'm just going to turn that round. I'm just going to try and lift this nearer for you to see. You can see all the dust that I'm talking about. Now what you could do is take... Hello Hilary, I'm using pastels today. Your nemesis. Oh, Connie, thank you for working along with me. So I'm just taking a little hand wipe, very gently, cleaning up the dust that comes off on this type of paper. So those that have just joined me, I'm using a normal pastel mat today. I'm not using my beloved velour, just normal pastel. In fact, Hilary, I think you did this class with me when I did it in Wellingborough. You didn't like it. Maybe you'll like it now, Hilary, and give it another go. So I'm just going to pick out some highlights. I really want the edge of this leaf to be brighter. Down this side, down here where the leaf is curling over. Just really tweaking, looking where I want to add some more yellows, more greens, more greys, and just tidying it up really. Here along this petal is really needs tidying up. It's not as sharp as it should be, so just sharpen that up. So one single lily in a vase. So that's it for today, guys. I need to get reset up, ready for tonight. For those that are painting along with me with acrylics, doing this rather brave of them. We're tackling this horse tonight. I hope you'll give this a go. This was the one that I've still to finish it off from earlier. So I've added some more flowers to that scene. Just take the camera up. So enjoy the rest of your Easter Monday, and I will see you tomorrow, same time. Thank you for watching. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.